Aloha, friends and neighbors. This is Rollin Frost, a Kona astrologer scratching away a living in paradise. Two important websites. First is skymirrorastrology.com/TV, and you'll see my turtle, my Amakua Honu, looking up at the planets. The only animal that constantly looks up at the heavens. No accident, huh? Anyway, skymirrorastrology.com TV. The other important, there, rollinfrost@yahoo.com. That's my email. And I invite you to email me anytime you like. Interesting, slowly I've gotten away from telephones, especially as I don't run for the phone anymore, and I'm 75, and I don't like being startled suddenly by the phone and taken by surprise. And for me, sometimes it's clients in emergencies, and I go to work, but I'd rather deal with an email because I can look them up when I feel like talking and answering. I can answer them in my time. It's all about the charts that you start. And telephones go bring. It's a bad Uranus, this telephone. Quick, answer the phone. Quick, answer the phone. That's the way I was raised. Bad Uranus. Okay? So I don't even have an answer machine on my telephone. I won't play phone tag. So you want to talk to me, rollinfrost@yahoo.com. I'd love to hear from you. I'm just not willing to run for the phone anymore. Before I get started, I sent $20 to Sierra Club and some other stuff. They sent me this back. These are seeds, and they're seeds for all these different flowers to feed bees and other pollinators. Now, the last few years I've been picking up dead bees off Magic Sands Beach. Turns out it's nicotinids. These dreadful companies like Monsanto had taken nicotine, nice Class A poison, nature-made, and morphed it into something they sell to seed companies and things. Anyway, it kills bees. That's another pesticide, and it's the main culprit on the bee killing. It's not some mite on the back of the bees, no. It's the use of this pesticide. So, I'm just delighted. I can't believe they sent me this thing. I'm going to plant them. And there's even a list here on the back of all the different flower seeds that are in here. And they tell you, put a teaspoon of sand in there and then tell you exactly how to do it. And I'm going to plant these. I hope I'll be able to show you some live flowers down the line. Okay, what we're doing here today is program 1039 of Astrology, Ancient Science in the Modern World. When I first put this show together 20 years ago, I had no idea how ancient it was. But thanks to Dr. Sam in Bosnia and the latest knowledge that's come out, now we know that it goes back 30,000 years, 55,000 years, 70,000 years. There appears to be ancient civilizations, some of which had high technologies, and I'm sure that's where astrology comes from. So, ancient science in the modern world. And this is my more simplified attempt to introduce you to it, my form of astrology. The sky mirror. It's a mirror, it's not causative. Things in the sky don't cause you any more than you cause them. Mystical, magical stuff, huh? Anyway, what's important here is that you got a new moon coming up at 7 Scorpio. It trines Neptune. It's on Sunday the 30th for you. And, of course, what you're really dealing with here is that full moon, huh? The prior full moon opposed Uranus. Here's our chart. You can see I marked them. And you're on it. Well, if you're watching the Thursday show, let's get into the day-by-day stuff, okay? Uranus is acting up because we had a full moon right on Uranus. Yeah, and that makes Uranus is electric, and it deals with things that go around like motors and wheels and mechanical, electrical. It's the scientific. It's also common sense. And some scientists, all scientists aren't true blues. No, just like Neptune, the priest artist doctor, half of them are sold out to capitalist trips, and especially Uranus scientists have, which is why we have so many working for Monsanto and things. Oh, don't shut up, Frost. Don't get into it. Day by day for you, okay? What's coming up? Well, excuse me, I still got Roundup in my throat. If you're on the Thursday show, the moon's in Libra, and it's looking pretty good Thursday night. I mean, here's Jupiter and Saturn, and who's that there? Can't see, so small. Get bigger. Okay, that's Pluto. So we got a whole bunch of stuff late Thursday night and early Friday morning, and it's all pretty good stuff until you get to just before lunch. And suddenly there's a square to Pluto at 15 degrees of Libra, and there's a little panicky feeling. And look out, here comes Uranus. The Mars and Uranus are there together because the beginning of your week, see, Mars is there at 21 to 29 Capricorn. It's moving from here to there. Now at 21 Capricorn, it squares Uranus at 22 Aries. Capricorn to Aries, both cardinal signs, so they're in square. Earth to fire. So when Mars squares Uranus, eek, lots of things can happen. Mars is like a trigger, and it brings things into the physical, very much so. And in this case, Mars also has to do with fires, hot things, sharp things, violence. Mars square Uranus is electrical fires. Yeah. Is that wire hot? Unplug it. So the first chance you get at this stuff is probably going to be the more difficult, because the moon has gone around halfway around its monthly trip and come back to where that full moon was. The moon here is opposing Uranus Friday night. Friday night. We could have everything from electrical explosions to solar flares, CMEs, problems with planes and automobiles and trains. Also strikes. People will get together. The revolutionary spirit with a full moon on it is almost over-emotional. So unexpected interruptions. If it's electrical, check the connections. And there you are. Friday night, Saturday morning, a Freaky Friday. So, you got warning. If you want to go out Friday night, expect sudden road rages, violence, electrical problems, people on the road, transport, and stuff is a mess. And so this is not a good Friday at all. No, it's a Freaky Friday on the 28th. Gee, we're going into Halloween, huh? Anyway, by the time you get to Saturday night, well, Saturday after dinner anyway, the moon shifts into Scorpio. And it's much more mellow. Yes, on Sunday morning, there's a nice trine to Neptune, good time for church and music and religion of a non-corporate way. Artistic, raise your higher heart. Do something to bring out your higher heart Sunday morning. Even if you just go sit under the tree someplace and, commune with the birds and the bees. And there's something going on here. It's Neptune. So it's a nice Sunday morning, very nice. Sunday night, this is after dinner, there's a sextile to Pluto. And so you feel like you have control. Pluto is bees, by the way. And maybe you'll understand that if we lose the bees, Oh, look out. And it goes back to pesticides again, doesn't it? Made by a few companies. Pesticides, pesticides. Monday is still fairly mellow. There's Mercury's here, and the kids are happy, and everybody's off to work, and everything seems to be running more smoothly, huh? Now this is... I'm not up on the holidays. Seems like the new moon should be All Hallows Eve when it's dark. Oh, the new moon is right here. The new moon's at 7 degrees, 8 degrees. That's a new moon trining Neptune. So there's no moon out Sunday night, which is why they see when you have ghost problems or spirits around you, if a human eye looks at one for 1/100th of a second, they become visible. You don't see them really, but it hurts them really bad. The human eye, if you look at one directly, it's like they're on fire for a second, and it really hurts them. So, they don't want anything to do with being seen, and that's why all the ancient cultures have this Scorpio new moon set up for All Hallows Eve, and they bring out the bones, or they turn off all the lights and make the ghosts welcome. Try to. They don't want ghosts around haunting you or old ancestors or anything. So this is the time to make your ghost friends happy and your ancestors. And with no moon in the nighttime, they're going to be out, because if there's light out, like on a full moon, the ghosts all stay home because they don't want anybody looking directly at them. It hurts. That's why in the Hawaiian realm, if you see hear ghost monsters coming, night marchers coming, you're supposed to lie down, face down, cover your eyes, make sure you don't look directly at them. Let them march along. Halloween. So, you're going to feel it right through Monday. And here Monday night, there's a sextile to Mars. The heroes are out cleaning up. There's lots of energetic fun going on Monday night with Mars like that. Tuesday morning, well, the moon shifts into Sagittarius, a mutable fire sign. That's the point where it does it. So you get up Tuesday morning, November 1st, you're in Sagittarius. And as the day goes on, it becomes more and more confusing, because that night here, about 9, 10, 11 o'clock, the moon squares Neptune. And there's confusion, delusion. Is that pesticide I smell? What am I smelling? When you smell something, it's actually little tiny particles. So a pesticide could be sprayed over here, and the wind blow it clear over there, and if you smell it, it's in the air. Even if you don't smell it, you don't smell fog, and yet it's traveled miles. The little particles are like little plates, little crystal plates, so they float along. So what's in the air that you don't see oftentimes are the most dangerous things. Yeah. I'll give you a pause for thought Wednesday morning. There's a nice sextile to Jupiter. There's a wisdom around, and then a conjunction to Saturn. Wow, we could do something about this. We can make a plan. The lawyers and the wise men and the professors tell the truth. The politicians, that's Jupiter. The judges and the politicians, Saturn, can make laws and put it into cement. So we need that wisdom now. Yes. As you go through Wednesday, you're in a Venus zone. Venus is about here, so Wednesday afternoon and evening, the moon's going by Venus, and it's very nice. You'll see it after the sun goes down. You'll see the moon, and you'll see Venus there, little green-blue, but she's pretty. She's very bright Wednesday night. Go look after sunset. Thursday, the moon's still in Sagittarius, and real early there's a moon trining Uranus early in the morning, and some of that electric, sudden common sense. I'm awake, and I see it clearly now. That's Uranus. And it comes in a flash, like turning the light on. And once you turn the light on, you see things more clear. Even if you turn it off, you can't stop seeing it. Yes, these pesticides have ruined our country. Started with DDT, you know, and it's been going on and on and on and on and on. And government doesn't seem to be able to stop them, and EPA and all of our experts, our watchdog agencies have failed us. We need something new, folks. Wednesday night, Thursday morning, you might understand some of this. Thursday, the moon leaves Sagittarius, goes into Capricorn. Things get more serious and settle down. On Friday, we start hitting sextile to Neptune. Oh, we all believe. Yes, the Bible is the true thing. There's no global warming. Earth was created 3,000 years ago. Where is the truth anyway? It's hard to find anymore. And here's a square to Jupiter to prove it. No sooner do you get belief going Friday morning. Oh, I believe. Turn on the TV, there's a preacher. I believe, send me money. Here's a square to Jupiter. The lawyer professor says, hey, wait a minute, you're overdoing it. So a lot of things get overdone Friday. Friday night, there's a sextile to the sun. And you're going to feel pretty good about doing some stuff. And there's discovery going on. The moon goes by Pluto, about midnight or a little bit after. And you can learn a bunch of new stuff, dig out some of the research. The internet is fabulous. I mean, what I learned about Roundup happened in just a few hours on the internet. Would have taken me months at Hamilton Library, the graduate library, or when I was back as a student 30 years ago. Whoa. But now research becomes almost a joy. Yeah. Don't let your guard down. Freaky Fridays. Stuff can happen here Friday night. But mainly it's slipped a little bit into Saturdays. And, you know, where's the Uranus square? 22 degrees. There's 20 right here. Now Mars has moved up a little bit by then. So you're going to get the shaking and the twirling and the earthquakes and the hurricanes earlier. Probably. Your awareness, you'll feel isolated. What do you mean the power went out? Whatever you do, you know, don't build a fire. The power goes out back here, you know, on your first Freaky Friday, tomorrow, the 28th for you. You got to watch those candles because Mars is squaring Uranus. It's the same thing up here. Here's your everything zapped. What do you mean? A solar flare knocked out the internet and all my electricity and my food is going bad? Well, you know, at least there's some Mars help here. Young men come out. Firemen, EMTs, those are the real heroes. Not guys with guns, not soldiers. So, your weekends are difficult, aren't they? And Uranus is a culprit. You're just shaking away here. When he shakes you or interrupts you, he's actually creating brotherhood, believe it or not. You're going to meet your neighbors, realize we're all the same. Doesn't matter if you're the 1%. Could be worse. If you got the top apartment in the 80-story building and the power goes out, whoa, you're stuck. You might offer better to be a bum in the park. You're not dependent on Uranus, huh? The homeless people, they don't care if the electricity goes out. Ha 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 ha. Well, Saturday anyway, freaky day. The end of Saturday night, the moon goes by Mars. You know, people could get angry. So, no fires now, okay? The moon continues through Capricorn until you get to Sunday morning. Then it shifts into Aquarius. Everything is different. By the time you get to Sunday night here, there's a trine to Jupiter. Wisdom flows. Monday morning, sextile to Saturn. If you can get the lawyers, professors together with the judges and the politicians, you can make things happen. A Jupiter-Saturn sextile going on right now. They should be working together. Oh, they can't, huh? Because you're just a couple days from election here. I don't know if I want to talk about that or not. Let me think about that. Before I get serious, my son works down in Kona. Somebody came in the restaurant where he works and passed out these things. At first, they look kind of real when you look at them. But what's this? There's Chinese written on here. There's this thing, and then you pick it up, and the paper is, it's like copy paper. More Chinese back here. What everybody, they passed them out to all employees and a lot of people. You know what? This is a political ploy. The right wing wants you to believe that China is buying the U.S. and buying the dollar, and what a dumb thing. But here it is. There used to be a law against this. You couldn't copy bills. So who knows? Of course, this is a right-wing fascist dude that's handing this crap out. Excuse me. Probably won't get busted for it. Okay, as long as you're in the wake-up zone, a full moon on Uranus, all of a sudden, I'm going to talk about August 2017 and a full solar eclipse that happens then. Now, this eclipse happens at 28 degrees of Leo, 52 minutes. And here's Mr. Trump's chart. And you notice his rising sign, 2958. So this is an eclipse, a full solar eclipse on Donald Trump's rising sign. Those of you who've watched this show, I think you can figure out yourself about this. I don't want to say anything more, just get me in trouble. But this happens, August 21st eclipse. And there's some things going on here. I should do this in color, but I don't want to give it too much power. Here's the U.S. This eclipse happens, here's where it's total, right across the center of the U.S. Here it's 75% total, still very strong. So, this eclipse in August next year affects the USA more than almost anything. Now, underneath this, I've got the lines, the astrocartography that you're used to seeing. And one of the things I noted is the 1st of September, just a week after this eclipse, the planet Uranus stops. And so I put that date on the astrocartography thing to see how it's set up. Here's Uranus on the descendant, and that line runs right down through here. Eek. Now this could be the big fault line out here, but the chances are it's running through the Bay Area, and we're going to have another big, massive disruption of stuff. Yeah, we've got an eclipse setting us up, and so here's a possible disruption out on the west coast, and this could be earthquake time. I don't know if it's Cascadia up here, that's a little far off. I'm pretty sure it's around the Bay Area in California. Okay, so then I wanted to see what was going on there. I took a look at the USA chart, and okay, here's the chart of the government of the U.S. And there aren't many astrologers that admit to this. Yeah, it's really 2:06 a.m. Now this is the chart when it's finished, when the Declaration of Independence is finished, which is when the last guy signs it. And most of these guys, because it was so hot, they did all their business at night, and there was a lot of drinking, and the later it got, the cooler it got, and these guys all had to come in groups from each state. And evidently the final guys that came in and signed it, it was 2 a.m. in the morning on July 5th. And that's really important. Astrologers have muffed this totally in everything that I read. And they don't want to admit that we have Gemini rising. Yeah, 6 degrees of Gemini rising. Eek. Uranus is there. We could be a revolutionary country. The world still believes we're going to, this democracy thing. The trouble is we got Mars here in the first house. And this Mars makes us very aggressive, angry even. And you know what? Mars squares Neptune in the U.S. chart. Here's Mars at 2137, Neptune at 2225. That's within 1 degree. Yeah. 3/4 of a degree. We got a 90-degree square. Now, if you had this in your chart, you would get drunk and go into road rage quite often. I mean, you would have little control over your temper, over your Mars, over your fighting, over the armed forces, over the military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned us so much about. Now, make sure you note the degree here, 21, 20. Okay, outside, in the outer rings of this chart, I have the chart progression for the USA. And I've been watching this. Here's a progressed moon going through the 7th house. It's what we worry about. We've been worried about open enemies and partners here already for 1.5 years or so. Here's the progressed rising sign. This only moves 1 degree per year. Look at where it's at, 2110. And the progressed moon's at 2254. The rising sign opposing Mars, there's an enemy fighting with us, with our military, and squaring Neptune. It might be false flag, doesn't matter. We start all our wars on lies, believe it or not, whether it's Vietnam or all the wars we fought were started on lies, deceptions. You know, let's just drum up the good lie and we'll get all those guys so angry they'll fight. Well, that's what's happening here. This is August 21st. Secondary progressions. The progressed moon went by there already a week before this and set this thing off. And it's squaring Neptune real tight. The progressed rising sign is there. I mean, the SHIT is hitting the fan, and the U.S. military is we're out to fight. Everybody's angry in the U.S. Why? Are they angry at a earthquake in the Bay Area, or something happening to Mr. Trump? Why are they angry? I don't know exactly. Okay, finally, here's the U.S. chart, the 6 Gemini chart spread out on the ground. I was interested in where the Neptune is. And here's Neptune on the descendant, and it runs right down through, you guessed it, the Bay Area. So we're focused there, and this could be a big thing. So I'm not going to soft pedal it. The U.S. is going to see a major difficulty that you're not going to forget for a long time, and it's coming up late August 2017. Think globally, act locally. Get some laws on your books to stop people from spraying their neighbors. You know, if we don't help, who's going to help, huh?